You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests. First-timers on Ron Siegel Radio. Sandi Clark, Debbie Miller, First Team Real Estate. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Glad to have you with us. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Let's see. We've got National Toast Day. I think we can do better than that, can't we? Well, maybe we'll. Are you a pet lover? You guys have pets?
I do.
Dog?
Believe it or not, a dog. He did.
Okay, today's National Dog Biscuit Day. So I got a little Aussie doodle. I wanted something bigger, but I'm married, so I don't get a vote. So we've got this little Aussie doodle. So we might have to get her a dog biscuit today. Although she seems to like human food. I don't know. Move right along. Chili Day. I like that one as well. You know, it's nice and cool outside, a little chilly out there. So a little chilly for to warm you up today. That might be good. And having beaten anorexia, I'm going with National Banana Bread Day. I love banana bread.
Yes, good.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of banana bread. I probably, if I didn't eat banana bread, I might weigh a little less, or maybe a lot less. We'll continue moving right along. Wow, let's take a look at the markets today. What are they doing? Is anybody watching what the markets are doing? Or are we just getting misled by the government some more? Dow Jones Industrial Average now down 219 points. The S&P 500 is down 18. NASDAQ is down 59 points. Oil up $1.13 a barrel. We're going to continue watching all these numbers for you because there is a lot going on in the world right now. I'm going to look at the 10-year Treasury. That's down just a little bit on the yield. We'll talk more about that in the Mortgage Minute. Hey, did you see Pete Buttigieg finally woke up and went to Palestine over there in Ohio? Yeah, he thought that he was going to the Middle East. What a shame. The guy doesn't understand anything that's going on. What is this? 20 days it took him to figure out that there was a transportation disaster, and maybe he'd want to go and support the Americans that are suffering. Was it just because Donald Trump went there yesterday? Maybe that's the issue, because until Trump announced it, Buttigieg wasn't going. So we'll see what happens. I got to love watching some of these different things. There's a lot going on, though, because also watching what the Federal Reserve is doing. We got the Federal Reserve minutes yesterday, and it was fascinating because they're still missing it. What's the big issue? We're talking about the big issues of the economy right now. Biggest issues, inflation. Right now, we know that we've got one area where the government is creating, well, there's probably more than one, but the government's creating most of the inflation, then they leave the Federal Reserve to try and figure it out. But here's the issue. And, I love our seniors. But part of it is going to be cola, not Coke, not Pepsi. But think about this. We added about $150 per senior, per person in their cost of living increase. Now you multiply that times the number of people. Most of the seniors or people that are getting this, they need to spend the money and they need it. It's important. But it's like a double-edged sword because you got the Federal Reserve that doesn't understand how the economy works. Why don't they understand how the economy works? Because they've never been part of it, right? There's been 2 Federal Reserve presidents that have actually had real jobs. They worked for consulting companies. You know what consultants do best? Nothing. But they worked for consulting companies that were indicted. Okay, so that might cause a problem. 4 of them actually worked for schools, higher education. Okay, we know where that's been going lately. That hasn't been the greatest. And the rest have never had a job other than working for the Federal Reserve. Think about that concept. So if they've never done anything other than work for the Federal Reserve, how do they understand what you and I are going through out in the real world? Right? So think about this. And I've been telling you right along that the jobs report numbers were totally bogus. And it takes a little while to find out where all that bogusness is, but we've done it. Right? So we know that the BLS jobs report, they should take that and just call it the BS jobs report. But the BLS jobs report, they added 2.5 million jobs. 2.5. That was for seasonal adjustments. Okay. So we would have lost 2.5 million jobs if it wasn't for seasonal adjustments. Our unemployment would not be at 3.4. It would be at 3.9 when you add that in. In the household survey, they added 810,000 jobs because we have the population control. Now, you know what population control is? It takes a little while to find this. That's called illegals, right? So they count up all the illegals that they think are coming into the country, and they add them all back in January, 810,000. That's why if you look at the ADP report, and it showed 106,000 jobs created, that's more legitimate. Okay, so now we've got that under control. We understand that. Now, what do we talk about most on Ron Siegel Radio? Housing. Well, we've got the CPI report. They changed that one too because they didn't like the way the numbers were coming out. So they changed the CPI report to go from 39% of that being shelter to 43% shelter. And we know that the housing industry, the housing sector is booming. And it's been booming for the last 3 or 4 months. It has just been dramatically increasing. If you believe that, I've got a bridge for you, and I've got some beachfront property in Riverside. But we know it's booming because the government tells us it's booming. But then again, when we look and see what the numbers are really showing, because there's a 6-month lag. Now, we're going to get an inflation report tomorrow that does not use 43% shelter as a factor. It uses 18%. We're going to see what happens there. But I digress. Let's go back to the shelter report that's showing us that housing is booming. And let's think about that one and talk about where those numbers are coming from and what is reality. Well, we've looked at the numbers and we've actually seen that maybe the shelter numbers aren't booming. Maybe housing slowed down a little bit in the last 3 or 4 months. Maybe we're going to get to see those real numbers eventually. Yeah, we will. But if we took that out, the unrealistic numbers that are actually coming up on these reports, would it surprise you to know that our inflation rate is not at 5 or 6%, but in the high 3s? Well, that's exactly what it is. Now, I don't know if they're able to do math at the Federal Reserve. I'm not sure if they've figured that out yet. But if they were able to figure that out, which we can help them if they just tune in to Ron Siegel Radio, I'm sure my friends over at Chapman University have figured this out already. But the bottom line is the numbers are completely different than what they're telling us. And what are they making policy on? They're making policy on the headlines that are coming out. They don't do their own research. If they did, they would realize that the inflation numbers are not nearly as bad as they want us to believe they are. And maybe they would not be increasing interest rates as quickly as they've been increasing. Maybe they'd also realize that many of us realize is that there's a lag between what the Federal Reserve does and what we do. Just throwing that out there for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we are going to talk about real estate. We've got the Mortgage Minute we're going to talk about. How to make your dream of homeownership a reality. 5 money questions to ask before you get married, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay's available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the Mortgage Minute. Today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Yes, I did get quite a bit of commentary yesterday about our discussion on how to save $112,000 strategically creating a financing program for that $650,000 home. I'm going to have Josh share that with us later today. We've actually created that so you can get a copy of that clip, that segment of yesterday's broadcast, because we did get people asking that. $112,000 saved by financing the right way. Just throw that out there for you. Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, and timely interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. What did the loans lock at yesterday? Well, the 30-year conforming locked at 6.639. That was up just a little bit. 30-year jumbos locked at 6.569, down a little bit. FHA locked at 6.489, down a little bit. Big news yesterday out of FHA. Cut their mortgage insurance premium yesterday, so that was good news there. USDA, that's going to be for the rural areas. Generally, no down payment, 6.542. That was up a little bit. And I'm going to tell you the best loan on the market. It was only for those that earned it. That would be the 30-year VA loan, 6.332. That was up just a little bit, but let's take a look and see what's going on now today, because that's yesterday's news. Again, OBMMI doesn't tell us if there was points paid to get those rates or what, but those were the exact locked interest rates from yesterday. The S&P 500 now down 21. The 10-year Treasury is down 1 basis point. That's on the yield, the interest rate. Mortgage-backed securities, the bond is up 3 basis points. We call that flat. Whenever the bond goes up, the interest rate or the yield goes down. It's just mathematics. It's not my choice. But 3 basis points is not going to have a whole heck of a lot of effect on there. So let's see what the news is. What's driving all of this? Okay, so we talked about the seasonal adjustments already within the jobs report. Now we're seeing initial jobless claims. They come out every Thursday. Hiring plans look softer. Employers are clearly trying to hold on to the workers that they currently have. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing unemployment benefits for the very first time. That fell 3,000 to 192,000 and remains beneath 200,000. Continuing claims and those that continue to receive benefits after their initial claim fell 37,000 to 1.65 million. While these are volatile numbers, it's clear that once workers are laid off, they are having a harder time finding new work. Q4 GDP, we just got their second reading of that. That reading came in at 2.9%, or it was grew by 2.9%. So we're watching that one. We get 3 readings on that, so we're not there yet. They're going to still change it some more. They can't figure this out. CoreLogic loan performance report. CoreLogic released their loan performance insights for December, showing that overall delinquencies and foreclosure rates remain near record lows. Loans 30 days or more delinquent increased slightly from 2.9% to 3%. Those 90 days or more remained at 1.2%. Lastly, loans in foreclosure were unchanged at a near multi-decade low of 0.3%. So if you think that there's going to be a lot of defaults, that's not happening. I told you I looked at this. Actually, I didn't. I just called the title company and asked them. For Orange County, California, we do have a lot of defaults, 599 for the entire county. Very, very low. Yeah. That's in the notice of defaults. There's only about 400 notice of sale on there. And a lot of that is because people have their head in the, don't go there, I'm just going to say sand. Okay, that's where they've got their head right now. I just talked to somebody yesterday. They've got a notice of default on a house that's got a reverse mortgage and over $1 million of equity. Think about that one. Is there any logic in that? People get duped all the time. How do you have a reverse mortgage with a notice of default? They didn't pay their property taxes or insurance. It's basically the only 2 ways to have a problem there. And, well, I'm not going to go there. That's a whole different story, but when you do a radio show, you get to hear lots of stories. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make a call, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. Let's talk about homes with Sandi Clark, Debbie Miller. We call it Sandi and Debbie.
Homes.
Sandi and Debbie Homes.
Yes.
But neither one of your last name is Holmes.
No.
Okay. SandyandDebbieHomes.com, so we can actually even figure out how to find you.
Yes.
Or First Team Real. Do we have to give First Team any kudos here, or we just call it Sandi and Debbie Homes?
We love First Team,
That's
but
right.
you'll
So do
find
I.
us at Sandi and Debbie Homes. So
Okay.
maybe a little of both.
A little of both. I love
Yeah.
First Team too. We've got a lot of
Yeah.
friends at First Team, and we see them all. They're very, very, very supportive of Ron Siegel Radio. We've got a lot of friends over there.
Yes.
So
Yes. They're wonderful.
wonderful company. So tell me a little bit about how you're helping people. What are you seeing in the marketplace? I go through and give all these different numbers, and they're all national numbers.
Yes.
And
Right.
if we were to go and say, okay, here's the national number, and then try and apply it to Ladera Ranch, Irvine, they mean absolutely nothing.
Right.
What are you seeing in those areas then?
Well, in Irvine, for example, we do not have a whole lot of inventory. It's much, much lower than what it was before. And we still have a bit of an increased
Now,
demand.
Sandy, you said something there. I want to back up because I know some people don't understand this, and we talk about things because we're doing it all the time.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm just a simple guy, so I like to try and sometimes. We talk about inventory.
Yes.
Right.
What is inventory when we're talking about real estate?
The number of homes that are currently on the market is
Okay.
the inventory.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the demand term is the number of homes that any given month go into escrow.
Okay.
So we can measure how many we have to sell and how many are actually being sold.
So I use a service, Altos. I ask every home street every week, every day. 78 homes for sale in the city of Irvine.
Right. That's crazy.
That's almost unheard of to have it be that low.
It's a pretty big city to have nothing to buy.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important when you are looking or thinking of selling to really look at the area that you're in, because we're in the trenches. There's all this noise happening nationally and even in the county. And you really have to go on a micro level and look at your individual city to know what is going on. And overall, the inventory is so low in Orange County.
Right.
That although the demand, you hear demand has really reduced, it's not as much as you might think because of the inventory shortage.
So is it the demand that is this kind of balance? Is that what you're thinking it is right now? Is it the supply is obviously very, very low.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
across the board.
Right.
Across the board.
Yeah. So it's just there's not a lot of people out there looking to buy, but there's also nothing to sell. So we don't have any major effect on pricing. Is that accurate?
Not as much as you might think.
One of the things I like to point out, though, too, is we tell all of our sellers that it's going to be, the market will be a little bit soft until after the Super Bowl, which I know sounds ridiculous, but people start coming back out. So what we've been finding from our Irvine office is that when an open house is being sold on a new listing that is there, they're getting hundreds of people going through. So though the
Just
demand,
because the Super Bowl's over?
Well,
They're
they don't have
not
something.
going to Disneyland to see Patrick, I guess.
They are not.
Okay.
They're actually going out and looking at houses again. So demand has increased like 18% over the last couple of weeks, just since the Super Bowl. Isn't that funny?
It is.
It is.
And ironically enough, so I just pulled up from our friends at Altos Research. I could go see every single family residence that's available for sale in Ladera Ranch in one afternoon.
Yes.
13 homes.
That's
Yes.
it.
13.
That's it.
I mean, that's just crazy.
And that's over all price ranges.
Right.
So,
And there's 9 condos though.
yeah.
I'm just blown away looking at these numbers.
Yes.
How do you
It's
sell
wild.
it? Right. I mean, so I forgot who it was. I had a guest on recently and
Mhm.
said there's 6 reasons people are buying right now.
Yes.
And I love it, so I stole it. Right.
Yes.
It's great.
Diamonds, diapers, diplomas, divorce, death, and defaults.
I love that.
I
We
like
we
that.
might
Too.
we might steal that from you.
Right. So
But it's so true. We call them life events.
okay.
And that really is what makes people move. And you sometimes don't know when those are going to happen.
Right.
But when they do, there's a great commercial out right now for the California Association of Realtors about that as well, where the woman comes home, says she's pregnant and it's twins. And he's like, I got to find a new house immediately.
Yes.
So
They're not going to find it at Ladera Ranch probably.
Well, and
maybe
that's
with our help.
And that, well, yes, that's possible. But there's another aspect of it and that is a person really needs to, if they want to buy, decide what they can't live without, not what they want, but what they absolutely cannot live without. If they have that, then that opens up more options.
Mhm.
So for example, if you're looking at a place like Ladera Ranch that has so few, or Irvine for that matter, that has so few, and they're willing to look at some surrounding areas, not only may they find a home, but they may also save money and have a bigger home because the demand won't be quite as great in some of those other spots.
So let me ask you a shameless plug here.
Okay.
So being that you've got a subset, right? Your company is basically Sandi and Debbie Homes is a subset of First Team.
Correct.
Correct.
and I know that we don't have any, there's just 7 listeners, so don't worry.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and we never get anybody from CAR or the MLS listening.
Right.
Does First Team have the opportunity then when you're with First Team, like a board of some sort of things that are coming that may not have been on the market yet?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. We have a program called Sneak Preview.
Okay.
It is amazing. And basically, it is a way to market within our company and a list of homes that are not yet on the market. Some people will call it pocket listings. We call it Sneak Preview. And being a part of First Team, we have access to that. And our in-house clients, we are able to show and share those homes with them. So for example, if you come and say, hey, I want a 3-bedroom condo in Irvine, and there aren't any on the market, we can then go on to our list, and hopefully the agents will have put them into our back office database, and we can call them up and say, hey, we know this is coming soon. Can you give me details? Are you at a point where we can see it and show it, and possibly get a buyer home off the market? It happens all the time.
That's one of the big benefits of using a professional.
Yes.
Of course.
Right.
Yes.
And in all honesty, a professional is at a big company.
And a good reputation. I just went into escrow for a client that wanted a very specific home in the Irvine metro area. And I called all the agents I knew, not necessarily just at First Team, but with other companies as well. And we were able to put it together completely off market. She knew a seller who was looking to sell. My buyer fit that house fit my buyer's needs. We put it together and completely done off market.
So internal collaboration.
Absolutely.
Great information.
And that's just what's happening right now.
You have to. We're going to talk more about this when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. How to make your dream of home ownership a reality. And Josh, we may not get to it, but 5 money questions to ask before you get married. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. 1-990-800-306-1990. The real-time real estate today brought to you by the area trusted real estate professional on Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com. rsrhomescout.com. It's a great app. It's free. There's no obligation and no advertising. Right, top right, you can actually create your own kind of profile on there. Find out exactly what your house is worth. Uses 4 different sources. We even give you Zillow, which we know is wrong, but we give it to you anyway because you're going to look. And then we also give you Quantarium, which is what Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac allow us to use. They actually use that in some of their algorithms, is what I'm told. So Quantarium is on there, but you can find out pretty much what your property value is. Remember, that's looking backwards. If you want to know what it's worth going forward, you have to talk to a professional realtor. They're going to give you a better guidance there. But it also has on there 97% of the homes that are on the market throughout the country, not just in a local area. So if you want to know what's available in Nashville, Tennessee, it's on there as well. Just take a look at that, rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. How to make your home of dream, how to make your dream of home ownership a reality. That's what we're talking about today. According to a recent Harris Poll survey, can say buying a home is a priority, and 28 million Americans actually plan to buy with home ownership. Provides many financial and non-financial benefits, so that interest is understandable. However, it's unlikely 28 million Americans will accomplish that goal in the coming year. Experts project a total of around 5 million homes will be sold in 2023. Why is there such a big difference? Partly because there can be challenges to buying a home. In the same survey asked, which of the following are preventing you from pursuing homeownership at this time? 34% answered, I don't have enough saved for a down payment. Shame on you. You're not listening to radio. 30% answered, my credit score. Shame on you too. We just had Sarah Perkins on telling you how to increase your credit scores. If you're aiming to buy a home, here's what you need to know to accomplish that goal. Save for a down payment. You might not need any money for it though, but you can save for it. Your down payment is a big chunk of what you pay up front for your home. For most home purchases, buyers put down some amount of cash up front, a down payment, and then take out a loan, a mortgage, Geneva Financial, to pay for the rest. It's a long-standing myth that you need to pay 20% of the purchase price for your down payment. In reality, 20% down isn't always required. In fact, according to the National Association of Realtors, NAR, today's median down payment is 14% for the average buyer and just 6% for first-time buyers. And don't forget, Geneva has a program where you can get no money down. Not just on the VA loan, not just on the USDA loan, but almost up to $1 million with no money down. Regardless of how much money you can save for your down payment, know there's help available. A local lender can show you options to help you get closer to your down payment goal. Plus, there are even loans like FHA loans with down payments as low as 3.5% for some buyers, as well as options like the best loan on the market. That's for our veterans, the VA loan, and USDA loans. USDA loans and VA loans both just got cheaper. Beyond assistance programs and different loan types, here are a few other tips to help you save for your down payment. Remember to factor in closing costs. In addition to your down payment, closing costs are usually 2 to 5% of the home's purchase price. Great agents might be able to even help you negotiate that as well. Maintain your savings. Your down payment shouldn't deplete all your savings. It's important to still have some money set aside for home ownership expenses after you move in. We don't want you to be mortgage poor. We want you to have that emergency fund. Explore your options and lean on your trusted advisors for expert guidance. Do your research, ask questions, and look into the resources available for buyers like you. Improve your credit scores. Your credit score is a number that indicates how financially reliable you are to lenders. A higher score usually means you'll be able to borrow money at a better interest rate. If your credit score is preventing you from getting an affordable mortgage, there are steps you can take to improve it. Here are two. I'm going to give you three. The report says two, but you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. We want to give you more. Pay your bills on time. When you pay your bills on time and correctly, because most people do not pay them correctly, even if you pay them off 100% in full, you may be paying them off wrong. When you're late, it takes a hit. One way to make your payments on time easier, set up automatic payments. We talked to Sarah about that earlier. Mix it up. Auto loans, credit cards, mortgages. There are different types of credit. And go and watch the video. It's about 7 or 8 minutes. And I've been getting all kinds of responses to this. It could potentially increase your FICO score 150 points, even if you pay your credit card bills off in full every month, if you're paying them off wrong. rsrccpayment.com. rsrccpayment.com. I want to get back to chatting with the lady, so I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You have to go and look. rsrccpayment.com. It's free. And I'll educate you on potentially 150 points on your FICO score. Bottom line, if you want to purchase a home this year, let's chat. And if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can I count on you to give them my number? 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment. Brought to you by the Area Trust Real Estate Professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com. rsrhomescout.com. We are continuing our conversation. Sandi Clark, Debbie Miller, sandyanddebbiehomes.com.
Yes.
In fact, Josh, we ought to put that on the screen there, sandyanddebbiehomes.com. If we can put a little banner up there for the ladies so that people know how to find them. But let's get back to chatting and helping folks, because you really need some education right now. Now, we were talking during the break that January, February last year, all of 2021, 2020,
Yes.
it was chaos in real estate.
Crazy.
You didn't know calling a spade, you didn't need to know what you were doing as a realtor to sell properties.
This is true.
Because there was 100 properties. You put a sign up and they sell. It's kind of like, I go back, I remember 1979, it was kind of the same way. You just put up a sign. I sold a house in 3 months by owner. Pretty stupid back then. I didn't even know what I was doing. But I put a for sale sign in the window and it sold 3 months after I bought it. Didn't realize I was going to get hit with a big tax bill. But now you need to have somebody that's educated.
Yes.
Right? That knows the market, knows some of the ways to get offers accepted.
Right.
Right. And manages and educates. Right. Is that part of your process, consultation, education?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. We do a whole buyer consultation with people where we brainstorm what are the right steps for them to take. And of course, the first thing is they have to be prepared. I can't tell you the number of times we've been fortunate. Perhaps it's just we do so much research, but we'll take a person out one time and they'll find a house they want to buy. So they need to be ready before we go out and take a look at properties. That's kind of a beginning first step. We also talk to them about what are the most important things to them about a home so that we can include that in our search.
I had an agent that I was chatting with a few years back, well, probably more than that now, before COVID. And he used to, when he would have a buyer that he was taking out to see a home, he sold a lot of properties. So it wasn't like he was just a newbie, but he would only go to one property. And he basically said, if we did our job right in that initial consultation, I've kind of learned what you need and I go out and do the shopping for you. And if that property wasn't the right property, we need to go back to the office and kind of figure out, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong?
In theory, I love that. I think in reality, people may need to touch and feel a couple. So I think we definitely do a version of that, but maybe that property is house number 5 or 6, because when we take somebody into a home, we want them to be open and talking and saying, okay, what do you like? What can you not live without? As my mom said. And so then hopefully by house 5, we have the one that we think is there. They've seen the ones that maybe don't have all those check boxes, and then we walk into the last one. And
Well, I don't want to. I'm not going to get too sexist on it, but probably I bet it has to do with the male and female differences. And what I mean by that is whenever we've looked for houses in the last 35 years, I get absolutely no vote. Right, my wife gets 100%. It's up to her. So if I'm thinking about houses, and I'm thinking from a numeric standpoint, right? I'm not a realtor, and I would never be able to do that job in my life. But I look at it from just numbers. Well, this is the number you said. It fits the bill. We're good. My wife has a little bit more desires than I do.
Yeah, we like to say there's always a decision maker.
Right.
And
I know my place.
Well, it is different in every relationship. Well,
It
there's
is.
always one person that's by the numbers and one person that's more emotional.
And sometimes it's the female that's by the numbers
Yes.
as well. We found both.
We have.
We've
Yeah, because I've watched so many times where, mom wants to know that the kitchen's got to be right and all these things.
Oh, yes.
And I'm just looking at it saying, I got a man cave. I'm only allowed to go in this room anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Right?
There's a hot button for everybody.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. That's exactly. Chris, thank you, buddy. I don't know if anybody would ever take me, though. So if you have any questions or comments, want to make comments here, you can go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you can, that way we know who you are. Marcy, thank you. Chris, I'll never make it for president. I've got too much baggage. You know that. But let's continue our conversations here. So walk me through this consultation. How does that kind of go?
Well, the first thing we do is we sit down and we talk to them about why it is, what's important about them buying a home, because we need to know how motivated they are. We ask them what they've heard about the market.
You mean you're not just a tour guide?
No.
No.
Right?
We probably got over that part a little
Immediately.
earlier in our career, right?
Sure, exactly.
But it's important for them too. I mean, we go through all of the things about what it is that they want, what they don't like, what's important to them about a home, why do they want to buy one. We show them a contract. I don't think it's right to ask somebody to sign a 16-page contract when they are seeing it for the first time at
On
the
their
table.
phone, on a DocuSign.
Right.
Yes. And
you can't even read unless you've got really young eyes.
Exactly. So we do all of that kind of thing. And then we set up a search and we ask them to comment on the ones that we have put in there to see whether or not our criteria is correct. And once we have all of those things set up, we have a pre-approval letter. Oftentimes we hope we can get direct underwriting approval for these folks. And it makes it very
Got to have
strong.
the direct underwriting. That's got to be given.
It's very strong.
Absolutely. It puts your offer to the top.
Well, I used to be able to tell people checkbox J4, which I don't even know the RPA, right? But now I know that they even actually put a new spot on there.
Yes.
That says that it's been underwritten.
Yes.
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 So you're right, because you want to have something. What's going to make your offer stronger than the next person?
Absolutely. And it gives them a realistic view of what they can actually afford with that pre-approval letter. We would be doing a disservice to our client if we let them walk into a home without having talked to a lender. Because the worst thing that could happen is they fall in love and then they talk to the lender and they realize, oh, that's out of my budget.
They
So
can't have it.
it's a huge, as you know,
Sure.
it's a huge part of the process of being
I just
prepared.
had that conversation on Monday with a group, and I said, and I was talking to it was a group of realtors, and it's happened to be that they service a different market, but I said, as a professional realtor, how many times have you gone into a $650,000 house and a $500,000 house? Which one's going to generally be a nicer property?
Right.
Well, the higher
Right,
price.
the
one,
higher
of course.
priced one generally, right? So if you've got a $500,000 budget and a $600,000 taste, now you start going and looking at what you can afford. It's going to be harder to find something you fall in love with.
Right.
Just throw that out. When we come back, I want to chat about something that I just gained from Sandi's comments. I wonder how much buyers actually learn about themselves during that consultation. We're going to talk about that when we come back. And Josh, as you probably guessed, I'm not going to get to your credit matters. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@RonSiegelRadio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit RSRNoDebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. RSRNoDebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. RSRNoDebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to RSRNoDebt.com. RSRNoDebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. This segment being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report, and it is wrong. I know it's wrong because I've never seen one that's correct. I started, the first family I helped with a loan was in 1983. I've been looking at credit reports for a long time. Highest score I've ever seen on a true FICO score is 834, and it had errors on it. 850 is perfect. So I can almost surely tell you, after looking at hundreds, maybe thousands of reports, I've never seen one that's completely accurate. I doubt yours is either. CreditSanitizer.com. Go there, get a credit report, fill out the form. We'll ask you to get a credit report that costs $1. I hope you can afford that. And then we give you a free credit audit. So CreditSanitizer.com is the source there. So I want to get back to Chris. I'm gonna throw this at the ladies. I see your question here. Have we shifted to a buyer's market officially? And is it time to start offering less than list price?
We were talking about this on the break.
We were.
Go ahead and help
Well,
Chris.
we're not in a buyer's market yet. A buyer's market means that the days on market are going to be between 90 and 120 days. Now, if you are in a 2 million or more home, then yes, it is a buyer's market
Okay.
in that category. But most of us aren't buying in that price
Right.
range. And
I think
and
Albert
that-
Pujols' home is still for sale in Shady Canyon, right?
there you go.
9.8 million.
Right.
It's 9.8 million.
Those take a
so-
little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yes, but right now we're still in what we would like to call a perhaps soon to be neutral market, but it's still a seller's market in most price ranges because they're selling in less than 3 months.
Yeah, and
So,
we looked
right.
at that report from Altos Research earlier, and if you want your zip code, any zip code, rsrlistana.com, rsrlistana.com. So I'm looking here at the report that we were talking about earlier for Irvine. Says strong sellers market, not just a seller's market, but strong sellers market.
Yes.
We can look at Ladera Ranch and see if I can pull that one up quick enough because I don't want to waste too much
Yeah.
time on this. Whoops, I guess I can't.
And
pull it up
again,
very
it's
quick.
all based on the inventory, what we were talking about earlier.
Sure.
So if you want the home, the deal, so to speak, is going to be actually winning the house.
That's a big issue right
It's
there.
a big issue.
Yes.
So what's important is that you work with somebody who knows what they're doing and you write the offer so that you are competitive.
You probably have to write it quickly, right?
You have to write it quickly.
Be prepared.
You have to be
Yes.
prepared, like what we've been talking about the entire segment. So you have to be prepared to make a decision, write the offer, be underwritten with a
Right.
lender, offer a good price for the home and good terms.
Now, before the break, we were chatting a little bit about your consultation, and I love the professionals that use the consultation process instead of just saying, "Okay, let's get in the car and go,"
Right.
Yes.
because it's really showing that you've got, in my opinion, a care for people, not just trying to get out there and sell a house,
Yes.
right? You're trying
Yes.
to fulfill a family needs. But the question I would come up with when you do these consultations, does that enlighten the buyers things that they maybe they didn't even think about things because you've been doing this more than a day or two, right? So
Yes. Well, we do what we call a crystallization process
crystallization. Okay.
where you can identify the values that are most important. Is it that you want a house that's going to be comfortable, aesthetically pleasing, a great value? Those are all just part of
An
it. They're like,
entertainment area if you like to cook and have people over.
Mhm.
Safety.
So when we do that, we kind of get a view from both of the people if there's more than one.
Sure.
And what's amazing is I have had couples have the one person say, "I didn't know that was important to you."
That's really enlightening, right?
Oh, yes.
Right.
And but what's exciting is
As long as
once
as long as it's not directly opposite of what the other one wants.
well, but we
I want a
usually
pool and
find
I
the we usually find the common ground for the people of their three top things that they really want to do. So we take a look at every house in terms of those three. And so we may say to someone, "Well, could you be comfortable here? How is the kitchen? Is it convenient enough for you that everything is in its place and the floor plan works?" And it allows them to then understand that if those boxes are checked off and the price is still within their realm, that perhaps they ought to write an offer on that one.
Especially in this market when unfortunately you don't get a lot of time
No.
to make that decision.
No.
You
right?
do
I
not.
mean, I don't remember what we looked at, but I know the days on market was like crazy low in some of these different areas.
Yes.
15, 16, 17, 18 days.
Yeah. So
In
And
some
that
of those
includes
price
the
ranges.
negotiation time. So really they're getting offers maybe 5 to 7 days prior to that.
how long does it take to get an offer accepted? Generally.
A couple days.
Couple days?
A couple days back and forth. If you're in a multiple offer situation, it might take a little bit longer.
Okay.
But
'Cause there
So
may
but
be
it's
more
quick.
counters.
Overall, the process is very quick.
and I'm going to throw this at you. When you've got multiple offers, what do you when you're representing a seller
Mhm.
and you've got multiple offers, what are the most important things that sellers are going to look at on the contracts?
We always say we want to find the buyer that is most likely to close.
Okay.
So a lot of things go into that. We want to make sure that the agent has followed directions and knows what they're doing, meaning they've filled out the contract correctly, they've called us.
That narrows down a
We've
lot
had-
of them.
We've had some communication. Communication is so huge. So if the agent has called us, they've taken into consideration what our sellers needs are in the contract. Pre-approval is huge. So they need to have a lender that has pre-approved or underwritten them. We will call the lender and have a conversation with them. What else am I missing?
Well, in the supplemental section of the MLS,
Yes.
we actually put a paper that is called, So You Want to Write an Offer on This Home. And it tells all the things that the seller is looking for, because there may be a lease back that
Right.
they are hoping to have.
Sure.
Or maybe they have already spent $10,000 getting the house ready and they don't want to do any more repairs. So we will say they prefer no repairs, no additional repairs. So when you do all of that, but as a buyer's agent and as a buyer who is working with an agent, I had an interesting thing happen on one of my listings where 5 days after we were in escrow and we had multiple offers, a new agent called and said, well, did you get my offer? I said, no, I haven't heard anything from you about an offer. It had gone to my spam folder and he had never called until 5 days later.
Yeah.
Not
5
good.
days?
Yeah. So
Not
that
good.
communication's huge. So
Big time.
all those things we watch for when we have a listing and we're working with multiple
Because that's a red
offers.
flag. How well is he going to handle everything else
Yeah.
that's
Right.
part of
It's
it?
going to take
Right.
5 days to check
Right.
up on something. What's going to happen when there's issues that come up? And every transaction has issues.
Mhm.
Professional and seasoned agents actually just know how to handle them and navigate those, because there's always something going to come up. Great information. I appreciate you coming in. We'll have to do this
Absolutely.
again. We didn't get very far in a lot of the things we wanted to
Absolutely.
talk
It was a
about.
pleasure.
Thank you.
And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.